This is Julie with JF Freedom, and I want to thank the Lord for blessing me with His words that were in my mind and went to my journal and now are in my mouth, and appointing them over this day, over the nations and the kingdoms of the earth, if they so choose to listen, to uproot and break down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant. Well, I mentioned it before, that illness I have is like a flu type strep throat combo, so my throat was really raw yesterday, but thankfully with some home remedies and the Lord's help, I'm feeling better today, although it doesn't sound like it. I could not have done this video yesterday. Yeah, so at one point in the rhema, it does call some people Dummkopfs. Those are people that live in Austria who speak German. They are very specific persons who are at this channel to make fun of me. So if you hear an insult, usually whether you agree with this or not, I am beginning to understand the Lord's language. He's very hard on sinners who have turned their hearts completely away from Him. And He's very loving to those who are considering Him. And you will hear that at the end when He addresses the Satanists that are listening on my channel. It's not to say people can't change, but the Lord knows where people's hearts are, and that's why He takes a hard view sometimes of certain persons. And He takes it very seriously to mock the work of the Holy Spirit, and it is my personal belief that is the unforgivable sin, which is to mock the Holy Spirit. But there's a lot of debate about that, obviously, and about that verse. Okay, this rhema is from Friday, April 7th, 2023, and the context as it begins is that I was slowly realizing that in the last 10 years, I began to realize that the monopolies in the world were controlled by the same side. So that's where it begins. The monopolies were being built up by both sides, hon, as you realized much later. One large, we control all the money and therefore the people someday. Two, in a future not far, not long in coming, to the two of you and your little Spazies. And in German, Spatzvogel is a tiny bird. And since I have two little girls, I call them Spazies. It's a word I made up. Back to the message. Speaking of Spazi, a Nazi type of regime forming behind the lines, hun. And this time around, it's not play to kill a few casualties, souls. But truly, we are out to kill and conquer all, count 'em all, humanity. And they will, my loves. For success is in the cards for them this time around, sis. And they will succeed in tormenting and torturing, resulting in death for many, a large portion of society. For the die have been cast, my sweethearts, and the tables turned to reveal, finally, the man all humanity has been waiting for. And here he's speaking of the man of perdition. For many centuries. And will they cringe in horror to see him revealed, as many unwittingly, sillily believed in past times, my loves? Of course not, dear ones, but rather they will receive him with open arms and hearts. Unfortunately, for my special love's sakes, and perilous times will be the name of the game, will be upon you, my loves, at that point. Cabin in the woods, stocked and ready to go, or no, sweethearts, it's not at all about that. Okay, dear to I am ones? Side note, and I mention, when I say I'm not 100% sure if something's from the Lord, I still feel like it's a 90% or something high. So I also felt as he spoke of the man of perdition, he will rise from the aftermath of World War III. I felt that in my mind, but it could have been from my mind. But I felt that phrase come up as well into my brain at that time. Back to the message. I am seized that some of you are tempted to a type of strained financial insecurity, walking in treacherous waters with the banking system at this time, depending on a big crash, and soon, and oops-a-daisy. I can't pay my bills at all, but I got all this stuff to show for it. Ha ha, in your face, you big bank. big guns of wads of money stolen in your pockets. No, my loves, more discretion necessary at this time. For as my sparrow would love to warn you, but can she truly speak all that's in her mind in this perilous, for humanity, and especially Christians' hour? But anyway, I am confirms what some in the Christian community have rather timidly, or not timid at all in their demeanor, unlike my sweet sparrow. Warnings, my loves. The warnings are out there, and some, or many of you rather, have yet to heed them. Many of you are being watched by hawks who could easily pull the rug out from under your so-called cushy finances. So get it out of your silly respective heads, the idea that you're going to screw the system somehow and carry it all off like a bad A millionaire wannabe. No, my loves. Again, more discretion necessary at this time, especially if you belong to the great I Am. And who, count 'em who, do you think the Antichrist will target, my loves, if not my own loves? There is a reason for these warnings in the Bible. And yes, sadly, much to your disappointment, I know, many of you listening here today online will be there, offline or on, to witness the sweeping in rain. Rain begins of the man of perdition, your local Antichrist, coming to a world near you and soon, my dears. So chins up. Get ready. Continue getting ready. But let's not do anything headstrong or foolish, as my sparrow unwisely put her foot in this shiza in past times. But we can't really talk about that, now can we? She knows, my dears, of what she speaks, and discretion is something many of you lack. If you so choose to be headstrong and foolish and play games with your money at the bank, simply do not go around bragging about it to any and all who will listen. Some of you need to take a note page from my sparrow's journal and learn to truly be silent at times, as she must continue her silence orders over her and hers. Her true situation she finds herself in this precarious, awkward for her, and all involved, if there was someone to be involved with her. But mum's the word in her life at this time, my loves. And yes, to answer your respective questions popping up into your brains, I Am can see all, I remind you, no one, my loves, she's got no one, but I Am to drag her kicking and screaming, please let me talk to someone who cares. Throat is raw from illness and crying hour. It is finally getting to all be too much for her, my loves, and too much for a Boaz of a man to hold himself back from speaking with her finally, and finding out for himself what's really going on. For with the silence orders placed over her head, and no news, and no one but him to notice the ring missing from her finger, my loves, she plays the I'm married to this ogre of a man, although I really don't respect him that much anymore. And he didn't finish that sentence, but to finish it would be that game. I play that I'm married game every Sunday, every day. Back to the message. I don't really respect him that much anymore, and he, her, for many long sad to her to recall the loneliness and regret years. Dear ones, an ounce of grace, she needs it from you listening online with harsh ears today. This is not for everyone listening on your channel, hon, for you have a few, count 'em some, real cheerleaders hoping for a win for you, but I digress. I Am has more to say on this topic in future, but she is rather tired and dragging today with an illness causing flare-ups of inflammation in her body she's never dealt with before. And this is truly a touchy situation that I Am is dealing with, so give us some grace and patience, my dears. Some of you are ready to land down hard on her, a word, in judgment for a bit of slowness in your view, for I Am to do the deed, so to speak. Do you think for 1 second my sparrow has been waiting happily, patiently like an angel for all this to finally play out? But rather, she came close to truly losing her mind last year, as some of you nitwits online listening view her now, for saying she hears from the great I Am. Truly, you dumb cops have no idea what my sparrow has been through. And see, if not for yourselves, at least others listening online and waiting impatiently for her prophecies to come to pass. Can we say, hold your horses, my loves? And in the Poland and Moldavia prophecy, Prophecy not come to pass exactly as I gave it to her, my loves. Exactly. So stick around, dear ones, and go easy on her. Heart is breaking at this time. For all this silence, and how could she have shot herself in the foot so badly on this one, she wonders at times. It will all turn out for her good, and that young Boaz's as well, in the end, my loves. Discipline, a type of discipline unknown pretty much in the Christian world these days, but known all too well by the satanic brethren listening today to her channel. Silence, my dark ones. She's finally and truly operating in the silence that describes your very lives, dear ones. The bread and butter many of you operate under. Sad for I am to watch some go insane under the silence, talking in no-go orders, but I digress. It's enough for today, my loves. And to tell you how it ends, it says, love you all, dudes included, in this late humanity hour. Again, keep it 100 with one another, sons and daughters included. The Trinity.